Okay, here we go. Don't worry, I won't scream again. Okay, but just a few more things that I want to mention about the working group real quick, okay? So one of the tasks that they'll be challenged with, I didn't want to say that, but I did, and probably the first things that you'll have to start doing is actually taking inventory of the conditions as they exist, so that you can start with some kind of a baseline before you just go on from there. Because you just may find that we already have it. Maybe, I don't know. But that's one of the first things that the working groups are going to be charged with. And then I explained a little bit about your every 2-month report back duty. Very important. And then they will also help the steering committee when it gets towards the end to identify any, what they're calling holes in the plan. Anything that might be missing. You know, somebody maybe has failed to mention anything about the homeless. You know, you never know. But that's also going to be part of the working group's responsibilities, is to make sure that the steering committee actually has the most complete picture as possible. And then you'll also be responsible for helping to identify people or things that may be needed to implement the plan. Okay? So it's, you know, it's a challenging project, but it can be done. You know, we have so many gifted and talented people in the community. I have no fear at all that we can do this by December. So right now I'm going to open the floor up for questions or comments or suggestions just about the working groups. And don't worry, I'm not the one who's going to answer them. So please, ask on. And you'll have lots of time later to ask more people about this. Go ahead, Toby. Working group only. Go ahead.
Okay. Besides having the meetings on the internet, could you please fax the meeting schedule and have it put on the bulletin board in the front of this building? So it's easy to find out when and where the meetings are happening.
That is a good idea. Did everybody hear that? Toby is hoping that when we start to have these public meetings, that someone will post them right here at the community center. Now,
you misunderstood me.
I misunderstood.
I don't care where they're being held, just that there's a notice.
At this community center.
There's a locked box in the front of this building that it will show where and when these meetings will happen.
Okay, thank you, Toby. Now, you know, I don't know if that's going to be up to the organizers or the working groups themselves, but yes, somebody will post the notices here at the community center. If I have to do it myself, I will. Yes, Robin.
There will be flyers posted in several locations, at the community center, at the library, at the county office. What was the fourth place we were mentioning yesterday? But they will be prominently posted, and then there will also be email notification, and there will be this website. We have a web page on the county website, and you can go there to see all of the information about everything. And you also can participate in a forum. If you're a computer-oriented person and you want to talk about a subject, there'll be a forum online that you can talk about all different subjects. You can introduce subjects. You can introduce what you want for the plan. If you're not a computer person, then we're going to have the public meetings every 2 months, and there will be flyers and there'll be notices in the paper that will let you know that these are going to occur.
Thank you, Robin. You just about went over all of my closing remarks, but thank you. But don't worry, I'll go over them again. Okay.
Question?
Yes. Working group question.
Working group question.
Thank you.
Who will set the schedule and the location for the working groups?
Good question. And if I have to answer that, I'm going to say it's going to be up to the working groups. See how easy we are? It's going to be up to the working groups. Yes.
Question I have about the working groups, are they going to consider tax issues that involve private roads for the county of paving, such
They
as the
just
road
might.
behind here?
They just might, thank you.
What about the community centers, or actually what they call the open zones that are open for commercial uses in the middle of private residential areas? Are they going to address those?
Perhaps. And it sounds like you might be good for one of those working groups. But yes, and also following up with what Jenny said, I'm sorry. If there are any grant writers in the working groups and you identify projects that need funding, then there may be some money. And in that sense, Jenny's right. There's lots of money out there. It's just a question of getting it. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you. Yes, sir, in the back. Looks like Richard, but I'm not sure.
My name is Richard Byerman, and we're talking about all the hard work we have to do in these working groups. And I want you to know that I got involved in the Puna Community Development Plan from day one. And with a bunch of hard work and people in the community, we created the Puna Community Medical Center in Pahoa. And that center has served over 6,000 people in Puna. Over 16,000. Renee, you stand up for a minute. Renee is the president now of the center. So what I want to point out is, a lot of people told us, you'll never make it happen. And guess what? We just stuck to it. It took almost 4 or 5 years, but we now have a medical center.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard. And since we have a few minutes, I will allow testimonials at this time. Yes, Mom.
Well, I agree with Richard's point. We have to go into this with an attitude of we can and we will.
Absolutely. I agree. Yes, in the back.
I want to know which numbers I should get into because it seems like it might fit into all of them. I came here because I'm interested in helping create a pedestrian and bike pathways that connect all the parts of Pahoa with edible or safe and educational.
Thank you. Thank you. We know that's the perfect example of how things overlap. But I'm thinking you might fit with the transportation group, because we were just discussing that the other day. What would transportation be? Well, I think we decided that it would be any form of transportation, anything that has to do with modality at all. So I think that's where you would belong. So thank you. Anybody else? Is your hand up, or are you doing something funny with your phone? Okay.
Yeah, I have to say this. Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of dedicated, or something I'm paraphrasing, individuals can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that's ever happened.
Thank you. I used to have that quote next to my desk in my office, because it is wonderful. And it is the essence of what we're doing here today. So thank you so much. Okay, so without further ado, I know you guys have just been waiting for this point. I know I have. It is now time that I'm going to ask you to take the survey. Okay, don't worry. You just stay seated. Somebody will bring it to you. They'll bring you a pen. If there isn't enough, please take your survey and then pass the pen on. We're not fancy here. Remember the zero budget thing? Well, we're using file folders for you to actually write on. We're using pens that I gathered up from my own home, and a few that our council member was willing to let us borrow. So please don't take any of the county pens home. If you need a pen, take one of mine from home. Okay, thank you very much, and please take the survey. We'll be back in 30